Hello! Welcome to, what are we calling
Cooking
it?
Up Cocktails.
Wow. Hello and welcome to Cooking Up Cocktails, brought to you by Cocktail Lab. My name is Brad. This is Cam from Cam's Coastal Catering. We're here at Ironworks Distillery in historic Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. And we're going to be doing a cocktail and a dish today. The cocktail we're doing today is actually called the Harbour Sunset. Kind of inspired by being here in Lunenburg. I'll talk about that when we get into it. It's kind of a riff on like a bramble, which is traditionally like a gin cocktail with usually some element of a blackberry liqueur of some form. And we've added one of Ironworks' really nice rums into it. So it adds sort of another dimension to it. What are you doing, Chef?
Well, so this week I've actually opted to go with a sweet edition. So we're going to be doing a lime meringue tart. So we're going to have a lime curd, a traditional pastry shell, as well as fresh raspberries, some candied ginger, and a little hit of lime zest at the end. Absolutely.
So, as I mentioned, it's primarily a gin cocktail, the Harbour Sunset. So what we're using today, we've got Ironworks gin here. Beautiful gin, very juniper forward, and it's got some really nice pine elements to it. We've also got, I mentioned we're adding rum to this cocktail, so we've got Ironworks Rumboat rum. So this is actually from our rum boat. It's aged out in our rum boat out in Lunenburg Harbour here. It's part of the reason why this cocktail is called the Harbour Sunset. And then, of course, the blackberry element. I mentioned that usually a bramble has some kind of a blackberry element. Usually it's like a liqueur. For us, though, we're going to use our gin noir, which is actually blackberry flavored gin. Also in the cocktail are lime juice. We've got some limes here. We're gonna cut up some fresh limes. I always recommend doing that for cocktails. Don't buy the stuff from the store. It doesn't take too long. Cut up some limes, juice it right on the spot. It adds just a really nice sort of freshness to the cocktail. And then we've got some simple syrup as well. Again, make your own simple syrup. It's very easy, as the name suggests. A lot of people think you need to heat it up. You really don't need to. Just use a little bit of warm water, and it's 1-to-1 parts sugar and water, and just put it in a little jar like this or something and shake it up and wait till it's all dissolved and you're good to go. I brought in my trusty Lewis bag and mallet, which absolutely revolutionized the cocktail world when...
Oh, it changed cocktails forever.
Absolutely. Lewis bag, like cocktails before Lewis bags, I mean, you might as well just be drinking...
wine.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop. Oh, make sure you have the opening of the bag facing where you're pouring it.
And a friend to hold your bag.
And a friend to hold your bag.
So now I'm going to squeeze half a lime into the whipping egg whites, and I'm going to really turn it on now and get them up to a soft peak.
So up until this point, I've had a simple syrup mixture cooking up to about 114 degrees Celsius, as well as whipped egg whites up to what's called a soft peak, before pouring in the hot mixture, which will pasteurize and cook the eggs, which helps make it extra stable. To ensure maximum stability, it's best to allow the whipping egg whites to cool to room temperature before we stop whipping them.
All right, welcome back to Cooking Up Cocktails. So in the meantime, while we've been on a short break here, I've just been whipping up my meringue, and it's now come down to room temperature, which means it is safe to stop whipping. So now I'm going to start getting ready to build the tarts, and in the meantime, Brad is going to walk through with you how he's going to build the cocktails.
Absolutely. So we're going to start, we want to shake this over ice first before we actually start to build the cocktails. So I'm going to start adding everything to the shaker. I am making 2 cocktails today, so I'm going to double everything, but I'll tell you the amounts of just one. So it's 1 ounce of gin, 3/4 of an ounce of Rumboat rum, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, that freshly squeezed lime juice we did before, and then 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. Okay, so that all goes into the shaker. Put the ice in the shaker after you put all the ingredients in. It just, if you get distracted or whatever, the ice isn't starting to dilute already and you won't get an over watery cocktail because we don't want that. All right, so now I've got all those ingredients in there, ready to go, ready for me to add the ice and do the shake. As I said, we're gonna wait. The gin noir is gonna be a nice drizzle on top, so we're not putting that in yet.
So I'm going to get started now. So first we're going to do with the lime curd. Once you put the lime curd down, I'm going to pipe some of this Italian meringue in little rosettes around the outside.
Little rosettes.
Rosettes.
Oh.
And then after that, we'll be finishing with the fresh raspberries, the ginger, and the zest.
We've got our nicely crushed ice in the Lewis bag now. That's going to be for when we actually build the cocktail in the glass. But for shaking, just use regular ice. This isn't great ice to use for shaking. You want to use probably bigger cubes, but this is all we have today, so this is what we're going to use. What I like to do is, so I built I put all the ingredients of the cocktail in the smaller half of the shaker without ice, as I said, and then I like to pour the ice into the bigger shaker and then just pour the ingredients in and to start the shaking. Are we ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. Okay, to do a float, there's a little bit of a technique to it. It's not too hard. Get yourself if you have a mixing spoon like this, or just use a regular spoon from your kitchen, whatever, it's fine. We've got our gin noir here. As I said, it's our blackberry flavored gin. Take the spoon, hold it upside down as close as to the top of whatever you're drizzling over, and then just slowly pour it over the back of the spoon. And it's actually it's not hard at all to do this when there's ice sitting on there on top like that. It's a little more finicky when you're doing it right on top of liquid, but this is, oh, and I'm just making a spill here. So just give that nice little gin noir drizzle on top just to add a nice red top to it. And then we garnish.
Alrighty, while he's prepping his garnishes, I'm going to toast up the meringue now and finish off with the raspberries, the ginger, and the lime.
For the garnish, we use a nice half, oops, that's not very pretty. We use a nice little sort of half moon of orange and just sort of sit it right in. And now you're starting to see why this is called Harbour Sunset. Sit it right in there so it looks like the sun setting on the harbor. And then you can even, if you've got some nice blackberries like we do, these are nice local Nova Scotia blackberries. These are the boats in the harbor. You can set those right in there too if you want. Oh man, that smells incredible. Harbour Sunset.
So now we've got our raspberries, our toasted meringue. I'm just gonna get a few pieces of candied ginger in here. This is gonna add a nice little bite, as well as a little bit of a chewy component to the tart, where we've got some crispiness already going on from the tart, the fluffy toastiness coming from the meringue, and then the freshness from the berries.
Can I have one of those gingers? Look at that. Look at the one you gave me. So it's like a nice little knot tied in the top. Look at those. Oh.
Alrighty, so it's time for the big moment. We are gonna do our taste now. So we'll have a bite of the tart, we'll have a sip of the drink, see how it all pairs up, and hopefully it's a mash made in Lunenburg.
Oh, good. Well done. Well done on everything, chef. Look at how Nicely frosted these glasses are. That crushed ice in there. All right.
All right.
I'm just gonna. Nope.
Okay.
Mmm. It's like these little the toasted meringue on top. It's like, oh my god, it's like eating a perfectly roasted marshmallow, and then that zip of lime. Mm. Oh, I guess I should try the cocktail.
Oh, that's good.
Oh my god, this is fantastic.
We do this more often.
I think we should.
All right, everyone. So thank you very much for checking in for our very first one of these.
First video.
Done and dusted.
As we said, we're gonna add the recipes for both of these down in the notes below, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff.
Thank you so much.